Hello everyone, this is section 1.3. So in this section, I will again be doing a few review of the things that you learn and maybe in college algebra, or maybe in beginning algebra, or maybe in intermediate algebra, or maybe you just learned this on pre-calculus as well. But before I start this section, I just want to talk one thing. About submitting the quiz. So let's say if I assign any quiz um, in this lecture, I have created a tab here, quiz assign in lecture. So if you just click here, so this is first week. So click on this week one and meta tab 1.3 quiz. So just click here and then you will see this thing where you can submit your work. All right, and again with this quiz I might assign more than one quiz. So maybe let's say for example, let's say if I assign one problem, let's say 5 minutes, another one, and let's say at the end of the lecture. So you have to watch the whole videos to see how many problems I assign or whether I assign it or not. All right, so that's why I say you have to watch the whole videos to see that. All right. Okay, so now in this section we are going to talk about getting new functions from old functions. So when we talk about the functions, we need to know what exactly the function is. So the functions basically means each input or each x values has exactly one output. Or let's see this through graph, so it's easy to see. So let's say if I have something like this, then we can find if this is a function or not using vertical line test. So if I just make a vertical line, and if you see any of this vertical line crosses this graph more than once, then it is not a function. But here, all of these vertical line crosses this graph just once, right? So that's why we can say this is a function, right? Let's say something like this now, right? And let's just make let's just say this is x-axis, this is y-axis. All right, and if I know that here doing vertical line test, I can see that this vertical line crosses this graph here and here, so it crosses twice, right? So we can directly say now that this is not a function. This is a function, but this is not a function. Okay, and here x, we can also say x as input and y as output. So that means the single input, at this point on x-axis we have two output, right? We have two output, right? So we have two y values. So that means a single input has two different output. So that's why if you get something like this, this conditions or this case, if a single input or if a single x value has two different output or two different y values, then we say that this is not a function. All right, so that's the idea of the function. Okay, now, now let's talk about getting new function from old function. So let's say f y is equal to f of x, or let's just say f of x is x squared. So here we're talking about transformations. All right, so how the graph is going to transform based on different cases. transformation. All right, so now let's say, okay, y is equals to x square. The graph is something like this, right? Something like this. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Now, now the transformation, using the transformation, let's say now I need to find a new graph or new function, y is equals to x square plus 1. All right, so now here you see that this plus 1 is outside this x square, right? Or this function, right? This is outside the function, right? So in this case, if it is outside the function and if we have a plus, then it is gonna move up, right? So it's gonna move now. Since I have plus 1, that means it's gonna move 1 units up. So let's say 1 here. So the new graph is gonna be something like that. Now that goes through this point, right? And similarly, if we have y is equals to x square minus 1, then it's gonna move 1 units down. So from here, it's gonna move 1 units down, and again, the graph is gonna look something like this, right? Okay, let me make another one here. Y is equals to x square. Okay, similarly, let's say y is equals to, now we need to find x minus 1 square. Now here, this minus 1 is inside the function, right? Because we have x square, which is f of x. Now there is a minus 1 inside the function. So if there is a minus something inside the function, like this, then it's gonna move with, if it is inside the function and if there is a minus, then it's gonna move to the right. All right, it's not left, it's right. Okay, and when it's right, then let's say from this, the graph is again gonna look exactly similar. It's just gonna go through now this point. And if we have y is equals to x plus 1 square, then it's gonna move to the left. So from this point, it's gonna move to the left. So from here, the graph is again gonna look something like that. Right, so yeah, this is called transformation. Okay. Similarly, again, let's say, let me just write this here again. This is the standard function, and using this function, we're getting new function, right? So let's say if we are trying to find y is equals to, let's say, something, some constant times f of x, or in this case, c has to be greater than 1. Okay. So in this case, to get this new function, the idea is this c, well, to get the new function, if the c is outside the function and this c is multiplying to this f of x, then in this case, we are going to multiply y coordinates. Coordinates of f of x by c. Okay, so that means, okay, let's say if we have y is equals to 2 times x squared, then I have to multiply all the y coordinates of x squared. So in this case, our base function would be y is equals to x squared, right? Using this as our base function, now I need to find this new function, right? So I need to multiply all the y coordinates of x squared function by 2. Or let's simply make a function, x squared function, which will be something like this again, right? And this point is 0, 0. And let's take this point, which will be if x is 2, then y is, or negative 2, then y should be 4. here again, if y is positive 2, then if x is positive 2, then y is 4, right? Now, now to get this new graph, like I said here, you have to multiply y, just y coordinates of f of x. So you have to multiply the y coordinates. So well, you don't have to, well, you can just take a few points of this graph and multiply the y coordinates of that point and just see how the graph is going to look like. And then after that, you can just plot the graph. Okay, so here I have 3 points, so I guess that should be enough, at least for now. So just multiply the y coordinates. Okay, so let's just multiply the y coordinates by 2, right? We have a 2 here. So if I multiply, let's start from here. If I multiply just y coordinates 0 by 2, this is still going to be 0. So new point is right here. It's at the same point. And here again, if I multiply this 4 by 2, then it's going to be 8. X is going to be the same. The new point is 2, 8, right? So that means, sorry, negative 2, 8, right? So that means negative 2, 8 is probably, let's say, somewhere down here. Okay. And same thing for this one. 2 is going to stay the same, 2, again, 8 is somewhere down here. So now we have these 3 new points. And if you just graph this, this is how our new graph is going to look like. All right, so any c that is greater than 1, all right, then you can just simply use this technique. All right. But what about if now here, what about let's say if c is inside the function and multiplying this x, something like this. So in this case here, we multiply y coordinates of f of x by c, right? So in this case now, if c is inside, then we are going to multiply, sorry, no, we are going to divide x coordinates of f of x by c, right? This is y. All right. So similar idea. You just the similar process. Whatever I did here. Now in this case, we are dividing the x coordinates. So we're going to divide the x coordinate, means this thing, by whatever the c value is. Okay. And similarly, let's say if we have y is equals to, now if there is just a negative, outside the function, then we need to reflect f of x over x-axis. All right. So let's say we have a graph something like this, which is f of x graph. So let's say this is f of x graph, and we are trying to find a new function, negative f of x. All right. Then to get this negative f of x, we need to reflect over x-axis. So this is x-axis. So if I reflect this over this x-axis, then it will be like that, right? So this is negative f of x. Similarly, if y is inside the x, if negative number is inside the function, this negative is multiplying to x, then our new graph is, well, it's going to now reflect reflect f of x over y-axis. All right, so that means now this one, which is the base function, is going to reflect over y-axis, so it will look something like that. So now this one is f of negative x. Okay, clear? Okay, now again, when we talk about a function, then we should also talk about the combination of function and also composite functions. Okay, now let's first talk about combination of functions. Okay, so combination of functions, well, let's say if f of x and g of x are given, then, well, let's just assume f of x is 2x plus 1, g of x is, let's say, x squared plus 7. Oops, it doesn't look clear. Right, x squared plus 7. Then, now we need to find, let's say, combining, well, using these two functions, let's say f plus g of x. Well, this means, well, we can basically just separate this into two different functions or something like this, f of x plus g of x, right? So we know that f of x is given here, 2x plus 1, g of x is x squared plus 7. So now you'll get x squared plus 2x plus 8, right? 1 plus 7 is 8. Similarly, well, if you're trying to find f minus g of x, this is f of x minus g of x, right? And then you can get the answer. So yeah, do this part as a quiz, all right? So this is one of the quiz problem, all right? Keep watching the whole videos if I assign more quiz problems. But yes, this is one of the quiz problems, simple one, right? So do that. Make sure you write this, or make sure you write f of x and g of x, and then write this and write your answer. So you work and write your answer, all right? And similarly, if I have, let's say, f times g of x, then this is also f of x. Since I have a multiplication here, it should be f of x times g of x, and then multiply these two, use FOIL, right, that you learn and the algebra, and then write your answer, right? I guess this one is also simple. And f divided by g of x is f of x over g of x, which is also 2x plus 1 over g of x is x squared plus 7, right? So yeah, the simple idea, this is also a quiz problem. So yeah, I assigned two problems, right? Yeah, make sure you write f of x, g of x, make sure you write these as well, and so you work and give me your answer, right? And another one, when I talk about the function, then I have to talk about composite functions. Oops, yeah, composite functions. Now, so again, let's say f of x and g of x are given, and let's say f of x is 2x plus 1, and g of x is x squared plus 7, all right? And then we need to find something like this. All right, so there is a small o in the middle. This small o is not a multiplication. This means, well, here first we have f, right? So this means f of g of x. So that means g of x function is going to go inside f of x function, right? So let's say if you're trying to find the equation of this, then f of, well, there is a g of x inside this big parenthesis, right? So g of x is given, which is x squared plus 7, right? Now we have f, so using this f function, now here instead of this x, we are just going to replace this x by this whole thing, right? Because g of x is going to go inside the f of x function, right? So 2 times x squared plus 7, right? Because we are replacing this x by this whole thing, and still plus 1, right? And after that, you can just distribute. So 2x squared plus 14 plus 1, which is also 2x squared plus 15, right? And similarly, g of f of x means now we have g first, right? So then using this idea now, since we have g, so we're going to say g of f of x, and then yeah, we can follow the similar process. So again, let's do this one also as quiz problems. All right, so yeah, do everything assigned for quiz. I think it's just a simple thing. So yeah, like I said before, the quiz problems are not going to be too hard. Okay, it's just going to be based on what I talk in the lecture. Very simple, which you can do within a few minutes. All right, so all I want, the whole point of this quiz is just to make you guys watch the videos, and also I want to check whether you are watching the videos or not. All right, that's it. All right, so then I think that's all I want to talk in this section. Again, this was just the revision of the algebra. Probably from next video, maybe I'll again review a few things of algebra and touch a little bit of calculus thing. Okay, a little bit of calculus thing from probably from next lecture. All right, so. And also I'm not planning to assign this section homework. Well, we've assigned homework for this section will be due not this Saturday but next Saturday, right? So like I said, every Saturday there is something due. So this section will be not this Saturday but next week Saturday, the homework for this one. All right. Make sure you do the homework for 1.2. All right, 1.2 wave assigned homework, which is due this Saturday, 11:59 p.m. right, this Saturday. Yep. And also, if you just go to the wave assign, I think you can see the due date over there as well. Okay, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.